Hi everyone, Sid here back in the bathroom. Ooh, I know, it's been over a week. I'm just as disappointed as you are, but I know this is gonna shock you, but Christmas week is a pretty busy week for me typically, and this year was no exception. For those of you who believe in that stuff, I hope you had a Merry Christmas, and for those of you who don't, I hope you had a great Thursday. So today's lather, I'll be going back to Old Faithful. And for today's video, this is another one of those that was kind of slapped together the last second. I'd like to talk, basically, I'd like to revisit the Panhandler Test because I saw a video yesterday, or recently anyway, I think it was 2 days ago, which really got me thinking because normally, you know what, I'm going to skip that thread and just go right into the video. Basically, it's a guy who gives $100 to a homeless person and follows him around with a camera. I'll link to the video right under this one. And basically if you don't want spoilers, just watch the video now. And what happens in this video is that the homeless guy, like there's a bit of a story arc to this video, because the first store that the homeless dude walks into is a liquor store, but it turns out that in this liquor store he's buying some stuff to give to other people he doesn't know. So what was nice is that it was a nice example of how it's an example of many things. I mean, first of all, none of this is scientific. Not even the Panhandler Test that I talked about. I don't know how long ago. I'll link to that also under this video. But it's a really interesting example of how overwhelming generosity can be a source of inspiration. Because basically, the dude he bought some food to give to a bunch of people that he didn't know himself. So he was basically paying it forward. And at the end, towards the end of the video, the person who gave him the $100 comes to him and tells him what's up, and goes into a bit of the story of this homeless dude. And based on the story, he's clearly a circumstance poor. If you don't know what I mean by that, you can watch my video on the poor, charity, and the importance of due diligence. I'll probably link to that in this video also. So basically, this guy is clearly a circumstance poor, and I think that it's fascinating to see how, you know what, I'm going to collect my thoughts while I lather up my mouth, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, so what was interesting to me is that had I walked past that homeless dude, based on what I was saying in my Panhandler Test video, since he didn't invoke a reason why he was begging for money, I probably would have said sorry and just walked along my merry way. And what's funny on that is that it got me thinking of how many opportunities I missed to help people out who are circumstance poor. And I really don't know, like I have no way of knowing what the proportion is of circumstance poor versus habit poor. But one thing is for sure, as I said in that video, is that the habit poor have every incentive to disguise themselves as circumstance poor. Now, the guy in the $100 video that I'm talking about is clearly a circumstance poor, because had he been a habit poor, he would have bought liquor in that liquor store. But since he's actually a decent guy, seriously down on his luck, I mean, in his story, both of his parents got badly sick and both died. So like, if you combine the costs of caring for someone who's badly sick, and you combine that with funeral costs, and you double that, it takes a serious amount of wealth to be able to well, let's just say, based on my amateur bullshit opinion, that it takes either a substantial amount of wealth to be able to take that and still have a roof over your head, or it takes a serious network of people who are willing to chip in and help you. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I really don't know. Like, first of all, the test isn't really the best example of missing opportunities to pay it forward, because even if I gave a homeless dude some money, it would be a couple bucks. I don't have a spare $100 to give to a random homeless person yet. But I don't know, like, what what the same guy, like, had he been given, basically how low do you have to go for him to have still paid it forward? Like, with 50 bucks, something tells me that with 50 bucks he might have been able to help out. But again, this is pure conjuncture. But with 20 bucks, 10 bucks, he might have chosen to feed himself first and foremost. Because even though this guy has no debilitating alcohol problem, which he would have fed instantly with any amount of money, you gotta, like any airplane, you gotta put your mask on first before you help someone else. And I'm sure that even with the $100 that he gave, that he got, he didn't give it all away. You gotta, care for yourself first. I'll be right back. So yeah, just to really stress what I was saying just before, it's pure conjuncture. I have no grounds to say to base anything of what I just said on. Kind of usual for this channel. Actually, that's not true. But one thing that I want to, another point that I want to make, because I read some of the comments in that video, and one of the comments was talking about how the homeless are some of the most generous and kind people, yada yada yada. I think that it's kind of bigoted to separate people into economic classes or any other kind of class. It could be man, woman, or any other thing. But let's just stick with economics, since this is the kind of thrust of this video. I think it's bigoted to divide people up into economic classes and then assign varying levels of virtue to those classes. So, just to mention another video that I watched today in preparation for this one, a couple brothers was doing a test basically where they dropped a wallet in front of a homeless dude to see if they would return the wallet. And obviously, the problem with YouTube videos like that is that you can't really know, without access to the raw data, you can't really know how many people, how many of those homeless dudes kept the wallet versus returning it. But I did see at least 3 homeless people just pocket the wallet. And I don't think that, how can I say this? I don't think that that's evidence either of homeless people being particularly thievish or immoral or greedy or that kind of thing. But I think it's an interesting counterexample to this point of the YouTube comment that I saw in the $100 video. And just to elaborate a bit, the person who wrote this comment, I think it was a woman, she had she went on about talking about the people she met in homeless shelters. And honestly, that is great supporting evidence, the fact that it happened in a homeless shelter. Because, and again, I've never been in a homeless shelter, thankfully. I've never needed to. But I would assume, based on my experience with people in general, that, you know, if you're circumstance poor, a homeless shelter is a pretty good idea, because you presumably would see this as a temporary stop to get back on your feet and go back to your old life. By the way, I'm going back to Bobanam for the aftershave. And I'm sure that the habit poor that would get into such homeless shelters, the habit poor that would end up in such homeless shelters would easily be spotted and identified by the circumstance poor that was in there. Because, like, you can talk a great deal about how you're just down on your luck, but when the people that you're interacting see you and you're presumably an alcohol addiction would come out. I mean, you can talk a good game, but eventually your actions or inactions or whatever will come up to you. So I can imagine that a habit poor that ended up in such a homeless shelter would again presumably be spotted, and everyone would know not to hang out with that person or whatever. This, of course, assumes a whole bunch of things about how this homeless person would behave while drunk. There's some happy drunks and there's some angry drunks. But one thing is for sure, if your alcohol addiction got you out on the street, you might not be the best... you might not be the best example of responsible drinking, let's put it that way. So I think that was enough rambling for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate your patience. This upcoming week is likely not going to be as busy as last week, so I'll probably be getting back to my regular schedule, or maybe even boosting it up in some future time, who knows. But as always, you can please like and share, comment, subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm also sidrock.tumblr.com is my Tumblr page, and on Twitter I'm at sidrockmtl. So thank you once again for watching this video. I wish you the best. Happy New Year if my next video is in 2015. And take care. Thanks again.